Yeah, what's up, Bear Nation? What up, Bear Nation? What up, what up? I think it's fair to say that we've all reached a certain point in time in our opinions. And the question that's floating out there right now, should be floating out there right now, or maybe I'll just float it out there right now. When it comes to Ryan Poles, is it time? The match has been lit in the cold underneath Ryan Poles' seat. The fire's starting to simmer. The question, based on his decision to fire Matt Eberflus or not, when it comes to Ryan Poles' seat being hot, should we add lighter fluid or should we add water? It remains to be seen, because you can argue that after last season we were at the same point. A lot of us didn't know that how long Matt Eberflus' contract was. A lot of us thought last year it was the last year of his contract. Come to find out, it's possible he had a 5-year deal. Which means after this year he would have one more year left on his contract. So if you add that to the fact that for some strange reason, being an ex-offensive lineman himself, he doesn't have the ability to identify quality offensive linemen. And when I say quality, I don't mean like regular plug and play guys that are, decent. Nobody's breaking down your door to try to trade for those guys. Nobody, if you were to cut some of these guys tomorrow, there wouldn't be a long line of teams lining up to pick these guys up off the street. These guys would be your newly crowned Uber drivers, warehouse shelf stockers, forklift drivers, or whatever, insurance salesmen. They would be doing something like that. Nobody is going out of their way to pick these guys up. So Ryan Poles has proven one thing for sure, that he can find regular at best offensive linemen. But see, that's not good enough when your opponents are always looking for defensive linemen that wreak havoc. Blue chip defensive linemen, not guys that you can just find and be like, oh, okay, this is a smart guy. This is a work hard guy. He can produce at a average NFL level. So let's get him. Teams are not doing that. So while you're looking for regular plug and play offensive linemen, your opponents are looking for defensive linemen that wreak havoc, defensive ends, 3-techs that wreak havoc. So what would be the inevitable result? They would destroy you up front. So if they're destroying you up front, your franchise QB will always have cleat prints in his neck. And that's not a good thing. That will reveal over time that quarterback's career and shelf life will be very short. And that will be your fault. If that happens, we won't know what Caleb Williams could have been, because he could very well go the way of Derek Carr, who was getting destroyed in his early years of his career, and he never recovered. Now, there's a chance that Caleb Williams could turn into Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning was an interception machine when he was a rookie. His younger years growing up into the NFL, molding himself into the Hall of Famer that he is today. But in the beginning stages, that he was terrible. So yes, Caleb Williams could turn into that, but not if you don't give him no chance at all. Like, you basically have wet paper blocking for him, going up against razor sharp shards of scissors and machetes, and you think that wet paper is going to hold up? I seriously doubt that. And this is why I'm floating the question, are we at the point to make the decision? Is it time to add more lighter fluid to the fire underneath Ryan Poles' seat? Or will he give us a reason to add water? I've stuck up for Ryan Poles throughout his tenure. The whole tenure he's been the Chicago Bears GM. I stuck up for him. I went to bat for him. I believed in the moves he was making, the decisions he was making. And then slowly but surely, a chink in his armor started developing. It started with Velus Jones. Everybody could blatantly see that he was trash. He might have been the greatest person in the world. He might have been the nicest guy in the world, just like Shane Waldron. Does not matter. The NFL is a business. Professional sports is a business. If you don't win, you lose your job. If you're a player, you get cut. You get traded. That's just how it works. So Velus Jones Jr. might have been the nicest guy in the world. Does not matter. When it's time to perform on a football field, he could not do it. But you got guys like GM Ryan Poles, who, I don't know what games he was watching. Maybe Velus Jones was a Hall of Famer in practice. Let's say that that's true. Doesn't matter if it doesn't happen in the game. The game is where it's most important. So I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer, greatest of all time in practice. That does nothing for the team. But yet Ryan Poles chose to hold on to this guy. Way, way, way too long. And my fear, and I'm sure a lot of Bears fans have the same fear, is he's doing the same thing with Matt Eberflus. Everybody can blatantly see this guy is way in over his head. The only reason why the team showed some signs of life this past Sunday against the Green Bay Packers is because they fired the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. But the main problem is still there, Matt Eberflus. Before Waldron got fired, if you look at the Cardinals game and you look at the Patriots game, this team has quit on Eberflus. Period. The offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And if the calling card for Eberflus is defense, what are we looking at here? Because he's blatantly failing at that too. The bend it, don't break defense, they've been breaking a lot lately. They've been China dolls lately. And it's a reflection of the head coach. Because he himself said the reason why they didn't try to run an extra play to get the ball closer to kick a field goal is because, we could have had a pre-snap penalty. We could have false started. We could have fumbled the ball. So if you have all these negative tropes in your mind of what could happen if you ran an extra play, that way of thinking trickle down to your players, and they start playing the same way. And you add that to the fact that it appears that they've given up on their head coach. That's what it appears. That's what it looks like. Add all that together. My question is, why is this man still coaching a damn team? This is already a dumpster fire plus one. Your main objective should be developing your franchise QB. The guy that you have, this is the head coach of your team right now, he ain't it. And I'll cross-reference another team in Chicago, the Chicago Bulls. Doug Collins was a good coach. He wasn't Phil Jackson, though. The Bears need to go out and find their Phil Jackson, because it is very possible they just drafted number 1 overall their Michael Jordan. Now grow some onions and go out and find his Phil Jackson. Whether it's Ben Johnson, if the 49ers choose to part ways with Kyle Shanahan, I'll be willing to entertain that, because the 49ers, unlike the Bears, have a very high standard. Doesn't matter that they've gone to 2 Super Bowls. They care that they've lost 2 Super Bowls, because their standard is much higher than the Bears. We look at it like, oh my goodness, it would be great to go to the Super Bowl. 49ers look at it like, nah, that's nowhere near good enough. Either we win it or the whole season is a failure. So you can see the contrast and ideologies of the two franchises. So if they decide to let Kyle Shanahan go, I would flip a coin between him and Ben Johnson. I might even lean more towards Kyle Shanahan because he's proven that he can do it. He's proven he can get you to the dance, and once you get there, anything can happen. He's proven to be a leader of men. He's proven to be very good at picking defensive coordinators, so the defensive side of the ball for the Bears won't suffer. That'll be taken care of. It's just too much upside to hiring Kyle Shanahan. Now, if he's not available, I'm talking Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson. So Kyle will be number 1 choice. Ben Johnson will be 1B. My number 2 choice would be, I will go with Cliff Kingsbury. My number 3 choice, see now we're getting down the list. See, I don't really have a number 3 choice. I really don't. A lot of people are high on Mike Vrabel. I'm not really high on a defensive-minded head coach anymore. Not in today's NFL. With the rule changes, heavily in favor of offense. It's just, my personal opinion is that's not the way to go right now. And as long as the rule changes are the way that they are in favor of offense, I think if you have an offensive-minded head coach, doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. You can shuffle in and out anybody. It doesn't matter because the head coach is that guy. And if he's a leader of men and he's great at picking defensive coordinators like Kyle Shanahan is, that's a win-win right there. And you got a young blue chip cornerstone franchise quarterback to be developed. It's a no-brainer. Your head coach should be an offensive-minded head coach. So that's why I'm choosing the way I'm choosing. And that's why I'm raising the question, should we add lighter fluid or water to the fire brewing underneath Ryan Poles' seat? You guys let me know in the comment section down below what your opinion is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video because I'm interested in hearing feedback. What y'all think? It's Uncut Sports, no feelings. And I'm out.